Okay, dear friends, let's kick it off. The most interested part of our audience here, it's my pleasure to greet you at this roundtable discussion of the Youth Council of the Central Bank of Russia, the Youth Perspective on Digital Technologies as part of Innopolis 23. I would like to introduce two young leaders who will address you today. Advisor to the Department of Organizational Support, Deputy Chairman of Youth Council of Eurasian Economic Commission, Madam Abdurashitova, Miss Abdurashitova. Chief Specialist of Rosgosservice, Deputy Chair of the Youth Council of Ministry of Culture of Russia, Baikovsky. Director of the Center for Providing for the Rights of Youth in Digital Space, Youth Ombudsman, Dmitry Gulyaev. Head of Department on International Sports and Tourism Cooperation of the Department of Multilateral Humanitarian Cooperation, Chair of the Council of Young Deputies, Mr. Kolpakov. Chief Specialist of the Far Eastern Main Department, Member of the Youth Council of the Bank of Russia, Osipov. I would like to mention that you have a chance to ask our speakers. You may ask our speakers in such a way. You downloaded the Innopolis application, select the program and find our session, press the key Ask Question, and all the questions will be forwarded to us, and if we have time by the end of the session, our speakers will answer your queries. When I was preparing for this session, I looked at the technology trends that were observed in the recent decade or in the recent 5 years. And the surveys of major institutions which generated such reports oftentimes did not coincide with each other, did not match. If you look 4 years ago, pre-pandemic period, you may say that we could not predict, couldn't foresee what changes will occur, what sort of digitalization will take place over such a short span of time. Such trends as AI, which first emerged back in 2012, came to the forefront, then disappeared, then it's again at the forefront. Some trends disappeared altogether, like hype of nanotechnologies. No one remembers nanotechnologies. Younger people are in a, let's say, dubious position. On the other hand, we're the first to embrace advanced technologies. On the one hand, young people 10 years ago are totally different groups in terms of their consumer preferences. We've selected such a representative panel. Each of our experts will share his or her experience in this sphere and predict trends. Elnura, Eurasian space, embraces over 20 million square kilometers. Young people in each country of this union are interested in digital technologies. And the question is, what is the take of Commission on digital trends? Thank you, David. Dear participants, dear friends, I would like to start by thanking organizers of this forum. The Young Youth Council of the Bank of Russia for this opportunity to address you. As you know, Eurasian Economic Union is an alliance of 5 countries: Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Russia. Over 10 years of its existence, a lot of solutions were taken which directly impact our day-to-day life. For example, in the Union there is a common market of goods. Progress is made in terms of creating a common market of services. The common customs code was adopted. And also there is an agreement on pension provisions in effect. ecosystem of digital transport corridors is now underway, the Eurasian network of industrial cooperation and subcontracting, and also a unified system for search of jobs. It's sort of a labor exchange of Eurasian Economic Union. These are just, this list is by no means exhaustive. The successes were reached together by Commission and the Union. As for the youth agenda, it is a relatively new thing for our Union. It is not yet embraced by the agreement between the countries, but we're working very actively in this direction. The Commission actively looks at the young movement, associations, students' communities of member states. We've created a youth council of the Commission, of the officials of the organization. It is a voluntary union. Well, our youth agenda also created some permanent discussion forum, like CIS for the initiative was first mentioned by President of Kyrgyzstan, by Mr. Japarov, when Kyrgyzstan was presiding over the Union in 2022. Now, Russia took over the president's functions in the Union, and Russia carried on with good tradition. And in 2023, we successfully held this forum in June. And once again, I would like to thank my colleagues from the Youth Council of the Bank of Russia who provide us with all necessary support. And in 2023, we arranged a lot of interactive games, which found very wide response among our members. I would like to thank Mr. Kolpakov. He also provided his support to us. And he arranged an excellent business breakfast where we invited young representatives of our countries with deputy heads of respective governments. As part of this business forum, participants could share their experience and their achievements and provide their own initiatives. I would like to spend some time on discussing these initiatives. For example, young people proposed to launch an information resource for young businessmen for Union member countries, and to provide not only government public services, not only within Russia, but across the Union itself. Also, creation of a virtual economic free zone, creation of the social network exclusively for businessmen. Of this list of projects, we can draw a conclusion that there is a growing interest of younger people in digital technologies, in particular with a view of integration. We, as a Youth Council of the Commission, try to create the environment for implementation of advanced youth projects. As for the support, the Eurasian Development Bank can provide the support, in particular the Digital Initiative Foundation. They've launched a competition and the bids are accepted till 20th November this year. The key criterion is the integration of your projects. At the same time, Commission works on the project office to work with youth business initiatives, jointly with the Secretariat of the Business Council of the Union. Well, it's an open-end institution. Everyone is invited. Those who are interested to implement youth projects, including digital projects. At the same time, the Youth Council is talking with the Armenian side, because the next youth forum is scheduled for Yerevan in 2024. Thank you very much. I'm sure that we're approaching the key issue of our today's meeting, the digital technologies. Now, how youth councils switch from the initial stage of the development to addressing major issues. I'm giving the floor to the Youth Council of the Bank of Russia, Mr. Osipov, who will discuss the tools that to improve the status of the youth councils. Good morning, dear friends. Today, our main issue is digitalization. Probably we should ask a question. Everyone heard about artificial intelligence and database-based decisions, and what does it mean indeed? If you ask this question, there will be a heated discussion in the audience. There may be controversial opinions. Before we embark on it, I would suggest to stage an experiment. Imagine just a number, 1023.5. How you will put it down on paper? The divider between the full number and the fraction number, is it a full stop or a comma? If we launch a question, there may be differences because engineers and accountants use different methods. The very basic notion, the basic matrix, although diverges our opinions, although no controversy could be excited here. Today I would like to talk more, not a form of content. We would like to come to grips on the main thing, on the idea of using new technologies. Why do we need these new digital technologies? If you ask a question, what is the idea of use of modern innovative technologies? How the Youth Council of the Bank of Russia approaches this issue? Everyone likes to talk about successes, but successes will not come on their own. We should discuss difficulties so that those who follow instead or go in parallel with us will see those failures and will share with us their experience. The Youth Council is a huge organization. People have different attitude towards, but given that there are plenty of members in this council across our huge country, given the regional specifics, we decided how we adequately assess all participants of our youth council, and we decided to use innovative technologies, BI, which will carry out not only aggregate or reporting function, but the key thing that will allow us to carry out the analytical function. We collect information to work with it further on. Once we approach a solution, we face the issue of metrics, of valuation, etc. And the first thing we face, we're a huge country, the scale is too big. The simplest example, look at the interdepartmental relations. For example, you are launching some event for 1,000+ participants. Take Novosibirsk and another. These are regional centers, but there is 1.5 million inhabitants in Novosibirsk and around 13,000 another. If we decide to launch such an event in another, we'll have to carry people from neighboring regions, which is by no means simple. We need to use some coefficients. For another, 1,000 is many. And how many will be okay? 100 or 10 people maybe. How are we going to calculate those coefficients? Probably we'd approach it from a different angle. We collect the data as it is and start to use the fashionable words like calculate trends and line of trends, and we come to the conclusion that the Youth Council is a live organism.
Это самые неожиданные.
And these are creative solutions
of the younger generation, and we tend to ask how did they manage to invent it all. But another key factor is the significance of analytics. And how to put it all together, how to get prepared for the TV interview, how to disseminate information among universities for brochures, or our youth council members come to visit other institutions. And this is just one initiative. How to put it together, and it's a very labor-intensive and time-consuming effort. So the question arises, what kind of API we are talking about? So the typical mistake of a novice is to have adequate KPIs. It's not the BI. Or we just calibrate the group using one matrix, one format, or we may use some kind of reporting forms, and it will give us hundreds and hundreds of numbers. We will have wonderful dashboards, charts, graphs. But is it our goal? Our goal is to put forth an innovation. It should be something brand new. And this is a mistake of a novice. And Youth Council supports this idea. David does the same thing. And we plan to introduce the updated technologies BI, and this is analytics, that is AI, and they are not supposed to substitute the human beings' intelligence. And it's working in a somewhat different way. We put together our diversified information on the Youth Council, and thus we assess how it all works. And in various regions, we have various approaches. And afterwards, we may analyze what is going on in terms of initiatives, in terms of headcount, in terms of the pace of operations. And we may see that in the K region, people organized the TV program. We have materials, we have analytics. You may try it on, or we may have some kind of a curricula and share it with other regions. And hereby, it's worth to mention our small experiment. But we may come across some misunderstanding at the regional level, or they say that it won't work for that particular region due to some objective problems. And at the initial stage, we didn't take into account some routine things. The people of Moscow region do not know very well how the Far East is living. The people in the South do not very well what is the lifestyle of the people of the North. And KPIs do not respond all the questions. It may generate many more questions. And the head of our Youth Council at the very first stage of our deliberations came across some challenges, but they go on working no matter what happens and what are the barriers to be cleared on their way. And we have to view ourselves more objectively and to work more efficiently. And we do work. And David, at our follow-up Phenopolis, may present the ready-made product finished for 2024 and speak about the prospects of further development. And innovative technologies is not a magic box which says, okay, we have AI and that's it. We have big data, we have dashboard, but no, we have to real work hard. And AI is just a supportive instrument, and we will go to the end. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you for promoting this initiative. And I guess that our wish should be implemented. In addition to technologies, we have the project management initiative. Olga Koroleva is the deputy chairman of the Youth Council. She's going to dwell upon how to intertwine the initiative of the younger generation with some core business of the Council. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, dear colleagues, dear attendees to that discussion, dear guests. And I would like to tell you a few words about the project management in the Bank of Russia and how to organize our activity so that it may be converted into significant projects of our bank. Our office was originated in 2015. We have 138 projects in the pipeline, headed by 30 project managers. We also have the construction business project and the improvement of business processes projects. And we use the updated technologies in the field of project management. And while elaborating these projects, we decided to use the Cascade method and Java method. I'm really pressed for time, and I'm not going to give you all the details of this project. Do you know what kind of a project we do mean? Could you just raise your hand and describe it to us? Anyone from the audience? Yes. To improve something. The project is designated for some improvement. And we do the same thing in the Bank of Russia. And first and foremost, we are keen on the creation of a new project, improvement of a product. And we have a very limited timeline and limited resources. And the project management in the Bank of Russia is designated for the improvement of key functions efficiency and to have a higher quality of managerial decision-making and what kind of the effect it may bring to the organization. It could be the economic effect, where we just decline the cost of the process and the value of the process. And thus we create a new product and implement the norms and provisions of the federal law vis-à-vis the KPIs. And I think every agency, every organization has young generation councils, and they always have a project as a keyword. And for example, we have a project to plant 200,000 trees and other things, but all the projects have to be opened at a very high level, at the level of the CBR chairman. And then we see what kind of effect that project may bring to the organization, the budget, the resources, etc. And I would like to give a recommendation to the Council. And we have 5 bullet points here. And we have to scale up our projects, first and foremost. While planning your activity, please put a question. What kind of effect it will bring to your organization? It's a good thing if it is an economic efficiency or financial efficiency. Then you have to count the labor intensity. Put the ultimate goal, and it has to be a realistic one. You cannot work infinitely and call it a project. Please put the adequate KPIs. Though we do not like these bureaucratic notions, but if you have a project, give us KPI. And also you have to find the unit or a customer, and your project would be of great significance. That is your lobby, and that is the unit which will allow you to reach a top level for your project. And while identifying the goal of the project, you should remember a good joke. If you have to explain a joke, it's no longer any fun. And I wish you all success to your council. We have quite a number of chairs and heads of the youth councils, and some of them are very advanced. We have 5 council, and Oля highlighted quite a number of recommendations. Probably we will talk about the effect she's just mentioned, and we will have a very good deliverable at the very end of our session. There are quite a number of initiatives that they are repeatable, and the activity is more or less the same. Everyone would like to do something good, something unique, but it's a good thing to speak about unique initiatives. Nikolay, the floor is yours. David, thank you so much. Good morning, dear friends. If we take about the junior councils, we have to proceed with a specific pattern. And first and foremost, we really have to put a question. Why do we need it for? And thus, the Ministry of Culture has its youth council as well. And we do not have just the employees of the central office and regional agencies, but NGOs and commercial entities and the project in the sphere of culture and R&D projects are designated to present a structure and a systemic approach to that project. And the most appealing projects should be scalable. I would like to show you some image. One of our projects was the neural net reconstruction. This is a young person from Samara. He is involved in that. It could be of interest to us all. And so we decided to popularize this story. And the process of neural net reconstruction is not a unique one. Originally, it was just the colorization of photos using the primitive method, or it was a mechanical method, and it was designated to bring the color to the photo. And it becomes quite a pivotal trend in a photo, and it's a very sophisticated effort. There are quite a number of man-hours allocated for that particular work. And if originally you do the statistics, find some information, and the neural net should be fed with the specific information, and further on, the neural net should know what to work with. And then you start generating the image. And that originally you have to do the color, and it should be a very realistic one. And this project proved to be a very representative and a very popular one. And that is the reconstruction and the improvement of the archives and photos from archives. And the government of Nizhny Novgorod addressed us. And I think that this is just the very start of this project, and we are going to scale it up. Nikolay, maybe you have other projects in the pipeline which would be substantial for the younger generation. There are quite a number of projects in place as we are amidst of the digitalization epoch, and it is really high in the agenda to initiate and implement the projects like the exhibition of VR domain. This is the work of the young painters of Russia, and it is a remote project, and it will be accessible at any point of Russia. Thank you so much. We have another announcement which will be of great interest to us all. And the young diplomats of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also put forth their projects, and they organize quite a number of projects. What kind of digital technologies are applied by the Council of Young Diplomats? David, thank you so much for introduction. And thank you for the opportunity to have a say in front of such an august audience, that you got together early in the morning on Friday and you are willing to discuss an issue of digital approach. David mentioned Antarctic. And further on, we're supposed to have our diplomatic representatives in this continent. And I would like to echo Alexander's question. What is necessitated at the level of our efforts of various ministries and agencies to make our operations more efficient? The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has a department for information and press headed by Maria Zakharova. And there are quite a number of communicative instruments, and the ability to communicate from various parts of the world. And we also have the crisis center operating at the global level. Also, they have the mobile assistant. And our ministry tries to catch up with all the new findings in the sphere of AI and digital technologies. How to accelerate the pace of communication? This is one of the key tasks of ours. We do cooperate with your council, and many colleagues of ours need very urgent communication. And this is a part of our international activity. And the pandemic assisted us to streamline all the communication services, and also the video conference with the translation. And we've managed to structure the platform named the Association of Young Diplomats, encompassing more than 150 people from various countries of the world. And I would like to give you just an insight. In March 2024, the World Youth Festival will be opened in Sochi, and our association will be present there. And we are the one to build the digital platform. And the communication, which was organized within the framework of my organization, is based on the digital platform. of VK, and also the platform of video conferences. Also DOS platform is involved. And some platforms may also compete, and they should be more applied and efficient. And this is what is related to that particular platform of ours, the platform for communication. And this is how we communicate online. And also, we have the Information Policy Council, and we also have social media sites, and the ability to use various internal platforms.
The initiative Good News. I don't know whether you know it about or not. A lot of executive authorities participate there, among other entities, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And naturally, we try to pick up experience of our colleagues. And now we're talking about friendly countries, like, for example, Chinese colleagues. We keep close contact with them, and we work with young diplomats who are responsible for digitalization in the Chinese embassy in Moscow. And at the end of my contribution, I would like to say that recently there was the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, and there was a forum of diplomats of Asia-Pacific region, and we agreed on creation of the quantum computer, which is the third most powerful available. And there we had a discussion there. I was struck by the fact that our scientists were divided into camps who believe that in 10 or 15 years we will not exist as a biological species because the AI will just consume us and will stop being the crown evolution. And other people like Alexander say that AI really will assist human beings, and AI will be used to make our life more convenient and comfortable. And in diplomacy, Lavrov says that it's the most ancient trade, and diplomacy will remain, in my opinion, no matter what sort of economic or technology set up is in place. And our councils will continue to exist. And I know that Rosmolodezh has a special platform which brings together all youth councils, and we participate in social media. Konstantin, I would like to say that even if we had the third most powerful computer in the world, it will create AI, then AI will need diplomats, and there you will remain. Konstantin, I would ask another question. I've heard such know-how like horizontal diplomacy and new tool. Could you explain what it is? Thank you. In a nutshell, horizontal diplomacy, that is a concept that was put together by our guys. It is a thesis that points to the fact that young people think non-conventionally. We try to set up a platform where we'll be able to bring together diplomats not only from this country but across the world, of the entire world without any exception. We started to work on it in 2017. It took us a long time to write the charter of this organization, and the horizontal diplomacy consists in creation of a variety of platforms for informal communications. And our meeting here may be viewed as the follow-up of horizontal diplomacy. It means communications between specialists of different profiles who exchange their views in an informal manner, to share knowledge and try to come to a solution or to draw some conclusions at least. And in our case, we bring this conclusion to attention to our authorities. But nevertheless, this work is done. And as within the framework of this horizontal diplomacy, we achieved quite sizable results like fora, platforms, and the Youth United Nations organizations. In our opinion, is very important. In particular, where many provisions of the Charter of the United Nations are eroded. Thank you very much. The issue of the subject of the Global Youth Festival was touched upon, and we have a special expert with us. We have a representative of Directorate, Ms. Chernobrivchenko, who is going to discuss this major event, which will take place in March 2024 in more detail. Good morning. When I make contributions and when I present festival, I ask the audience, have you heard about this festival? Well, my colleague has already mentioned that. Thank you for invitation, for this opportunity to address you, to describe our festival. Indeed, it will really be a major and a large-scale events globally. It is initiated by a decree of Mr. Putin, our president, and it was initiated following the ideas put forth by young people. Last year, Mr. Putin met students, and it turned out that younger people need a large-scale platform for discussions where they could independently and openly share their ideas. And the Global Youth Festival will be such platform. 20,000 people will take part, 10,000 Russians and 10,000 foreigners, representing various spheres of life, business, IT, sports, culture, etc. There will be numerous other areas of interest. Everyone will find something of interest, both in terms of entertainment and in terms of business. The entire program of festival will be divided into several major streams: sports, culture, tourism, business, and entertainment as well. I must emphasize that there will be large-scale events related to IT. Well, we're going to discuss AI and cybersecurities and development of ICT environment generally. All these areas were proposed by younger people and will be implemented by younger people. If there is anyone wishing to join the festival, we are open, well, to anyone who is prepared to share his or her experience with young generation. We are prepared to invite you as participants or as speakers. To be a participant of the festival, you should take part in a competition of 6 stages. The first stage includes submission of a bid on the website of the Global Youth Festival. Then you will have to carry out some tasks to complete a portfolio discussing yourself and your achievements. Then you should write an essay about one of the senses of the festival. These are global concepts which will be discussed on each day of the festival. For example, international associations or responsibility for our future. And once we complete the task, we will make a video visit card. It will explain why you want to participate in the festival. Then there will be lists of participants, and by December 2023, you will receive a message that from the 1st till 7th of March, you will be in Sochi, communicating with young and active youth from the entire world. 183 states will participate. But time is running out for submitting a bid before the 1st of December. You should submit your bid if you're interested. Thank you for attention. Thank you. I'm sure that after today's that there will be more registrations made. That we have another speaker. He's the only one on the panel who is not from a specific youth organization, but he is directly linked with the youth agenda. The Institute of Youth Ombudsman is already 3 years old. I would like you to share your experience and the idea which underpins your position. Thank you for an invitation to this forum, and I'm happy to meet people from the Youth Council of the Bank of Russia. It's our mission, the mission of Youth Ombudsman, starts to justify itself. What is the mission generally? Indeed, I like the thesis about horizontal diplomacy, probably in a broad sense of this concept, where participants or may be participants of the horizontal diplomacy, because we create some dialogue fora for dialogue interaction between young people who are interested in development of IT or development at the juncture of IT and other sectors like finance, and building this contact and dialogue with public organizations and public authorities and businesses generally. And indeed, this is a planned, steady exercise. We divided in 3 areas of activities: protection of rights, children of youth against threats which exist in the digital space. We're talking about innovations digital, but there are risks which exist in the actual world, and they are modernized and convert into digital risks. There are new digital risks and threats which will be dealt with. In addition to exercise of rights in digital space, the young people should learn how to protect these rights. To this end, we created a special platform where you can submit a request, even anonymously, and the lawyers, a group of lawyers who are affiliated to the Moscow Law Institute, will provide free of charge legal advice. We work on a lot of educational materials. We work on education and awareness, both in terms of development of digital links and skills and legal skills. Recently, we made a special, fairly interesting course on digital communication, and it deals with a variety of threats which exist in their IT space. We arrange a lot of interactive events like master classes, roundtable discussions, etc. On top of education, we talk about the 3rd cluster, that is support of initiatives and innovations, because younger people, these are people who generate ideas, but this generation, unfortunately, ends at the stage of generation because they fail to find support, sometimes financial support or organizational, political support. And in this respect, for the first time, we arranged for an award, digitalization for the benefit of the people. This award will be given to those who achieve these results. We have 2 digital projects who educate school children regarding digital threats, and then we train people how to prepare for children's Olympic Games. We also work on a big instrument, was an atlas, innovative youth solutions, which intended to develop youth IT space. All ideas, all digital tools which have been accumulated in the recent 3 years. They're combined there within a single atlas, and we see how these initiatives address the global challenges that we face now. By the end of this year, we hope this atlas will be issued and presented in public domain, and both younger people will have support from interested stakeholders, and those companies or stakeholders, government authorities, will may be excited by some of the ideas and to use them in their practical activities. And as our flagship project, which we'll mention, which was implemented this year for the second year in a row, it's a juncture of all these 3 areas: protection of rights, education, support of innovations. That is International School of Internet Security for young people. It's a digital breakthrough, digital disruption. While Internet changes us, we can change Internet, and it was the younger people who presented that. It was done at Senish with the support of the program of Russia, the country of opportunities. The key task is, in addition to educational aspect, well, to draw the agenda for the next 5 years, including in the area of digital transformation and transformation of youth policies, and to help younger people to develop their own project with support of the industry. Some of these projects are already implemented in educational institutions or in business institutions. And this is the project which will be interesting to us. We think that to modernize this project or to allocate it as a standalone program, we want to talk about digitalization in the area of finance. I think that cooperation with the Youth Council of Bank of Russia will be very interesting, because digital technology and finance, this is the juncture which is of interest to many people. And financial literacy, which is often mentioned by the Bank of Russia and other banks in Russia, is directly linked with this. I think that is the point of contact, not only with the Youth Council of the Bank of Russia, but with other organizations. I hope our cooperation will succeed, because we work for children and for young people, and we work jointly with them. Thank you. I'm sure that this is the start of another track for our joint activities. Just a minor question to you. You have a long-term experience of helping young leaders from various areas in terms of active interaction between them. What sort of formats you could identify which may be additional sources of such interaction? The first format, which I mentioned already, is dialogue. Dialogue is the format which existed before digitalization, existed during digitalization, and will be after digitalization. There will be a new trend thereafter. And dialogue formats should be also on a par. It should be a narrative or just teaching. It should be a joint effort, creating a communicative and productive dialogue to foster initiatives. And
this is the dialogue of a global format, may be implemented in the context of minor interactive formats. Interactive formats, as of today, what we see, children are losing attention, and they do not want to follow lectures. And in order to provide the material adequately to children, we're supposed to work with the essences within the framework of the Youth Festival. And the target audience, like children and the young generation, should just come to us, and we act as the trainers, coaches, and instructors. And we use the interactive formats. And maybe later I will share my new ideas with you as a part of the networking. I would like to very briefly ask our experts to have a say. What kind of new knowledge you have acquired in the course of our plenary session. And what is the prime look of the young generation onto the digital development? Thank you for your question. It was a very interesting discussion. I've managed to take a deep dive into the statistics. And in a nutshell, the systemic approach of the Eurasian Economic Commission allows us to identify some specific trends in the digital youth track. And what we see is that digital technologies are absolutely indispensable for the daily life of the young generation. They use the social networks, gadgets, devices for work, for leisure time. And what else? There is a growth of a number of young entrepreneurs using digital technologies for the launch of their business projects. And we do realize that we have to promote the online platforms in order to support the above-mentioned initiatives. And the next is the activation of the curricula and some events aimed at the development of digital skills and habits for younger generation. The Eurasian community takes decisions at their national levels in terms of the digital literacy of the population, and thus the digital literacy becomes the driver for economic growth and competitiveness at the level of the younger generation and at the level of all nations of Eurasian Council. Thank you for your productive morning. And talking about the digitalization of the youth sector, I should say that for us, digital approach is the conductor for the new information, for the retranslation of new essences, new notions, and new messages. And we should take all the opportunities and do it adequately. And where this is an absolutely new approach, it has to be identified and practically applied. And we are supposed to have some kind of a takeaway. David, maybe we'll organize another meeting at the level of our council and do it on the basis of the Eurasian Youth Commission on the digitalization. And probably we can discuss it with your management. And the second thing to mention is, my view is brave, ambitious, and oriented onto the initiative. We are exceeding our time limit. The younger generation are real brave, keen, and courageous, and with a number of illusions. And some illusions will be turned into practice. And 10 years ago, it was like a fairy tale to us, some initiatives of ours, but now part of our illusions came true. And try to keep them, try to put them into practice. And the human being may do a lot if he wants it to do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And the resume of our today's meeting is that the youth is the driver of digitalization. We have it at the top of our agenda. And at the advanced level, we may use the entire spectrum of instruments to make it more predictable and understandable and useful. And number three, the world is full of opportunities, and we should take them and use by maximum, internally and at the and externally. And the case studies we've followed today will be very inspiring for some new achievements. And wish you good luck at the Finnopolis Forum 2023.